How Eala moves up or down at WTA rankings. Manila, Philippines. Some fans were left confused or surprised when Filipino tennis ace Alex Eala rose at the WTA live rankings despite getting booted out at the Philippine Women's Open, PWO, quarterfinals Thursday, elevating from 49th to a new career best 45th. It's easy to think that an Eala exit should drop any player in the rankings, right? That's now how it works when it comes to the WTA rankings. Some players, especially near above Eala, dropped in the rankings, enabling the Filipino player to move up and take the vacated spot. It could also be the case in which a player gained enormous points that she's able to leap over the players who are doing just fine. A prime example is Eala gaining 390 ranking points from her historic semis finish at the 1000 level Miami Open last March, and moving approximately from 140th to 75th in the rankings. How does a player drop or rise in the rankings? For starters, the WTA ranking system sums up the ranking points gained by a player from her 16 best tournaments in the past 52 weeks, 1 year. Once that specific tournament turned 1 year old, the ranking points gained by the player from that competition dropped off and was replaced by her latest tournament results. The cycle continues as players defend, gain, or lose points in the current tournament year. Eala gained 27 ranking points for her quarterfinal finish at the inaugural PWO, a 125-level tournament, gaining a total of 1163, and rising from 49th to new career best 45th in the live rankings. As of writing, Eala had a +4 net gain in ranking points, which most likely means she had 23 in the same tournament week, tournament day even, last year. Times this means that Eala defended those 23 ranking points and even gained 4 more since she acquired 27 in this tournament week. Some players lost their points from last year as they were unable to match or exceed how they did in the same tournament week a year ago. Case in point is world number 48 Laura Siegemund of Germany, who has a -60 in her ranking points for a total of 1111 this week. WTA live rankings update almost in real time, telling the ranking movement and points of players once their match is over. On the other hand, the official rankings only update once a week, and it's usually Monday morning here in Manila. Alex Eala's journey through the Women's Tennis Association, WTA, rankings is more than a sequence of numbers on a leaderboard. It's a living narrative of triumphs and setbacks, risk and reward, rhythm and chaos, a story that unfolds on courts from Miami to Eastbourne, under the glaring sun, in dueling shadows of pressure and promise. Each swing of the racket, each footwork shift, is a note in a symphony that echoes in a global ranking system. Before we step into the creative heart of this story, it's important to understand the mechanics of the WTA ranking system, the invisible engine that measures a player's success and assigns numerical placement. Watch out what determines WTA rankings. The WTA ranking is a dynamic system that evaluates a player's performance in tournaments over a rolling 52-week period. Points are awarded based on how far a player advances in various levels of tournaments, from WTA 125 events to Grand Slams. A deeper run in a prestigious event yields more ranking points, and those points collectively determine where a player sits in the global hierarchy this week. Conversely, if a player fails to defend points earned the previous year, her ranking can fall. While this may sound technical, to players it feels visceral, like a pulse that quickens or slows with every match result. Sunrise Prologue, a dawn in the rankings. Imagine a young tennis player, 19, full of raw energy, carrying the weight of her country's hopes, stepping onto a court where the numbers on the leaderboard feel like constellations. For Alex Eala, this was the start of her 2025 season. In early January, she began the year outside the top 100, somewhere around world number 136, a career high at that moment, earned through persistence and earning points even in early tournament rounds. This position, though far from the glittering top 10, was a gateway. It offered entry into bigger tournaments, where the points, like rare gems, were worth much more. It allowed her to dream bigger. It was the campfire before the climb. Rocket Chapter 1, the meteor that struck Miami. In March of the same year, something extraordinary happened. Alex stepped into the Miami Open, a WTA 1000 event, one of the most significant and competitive tournaments outside the Grand Slams. She entered as a wildcard, a special invitation, sometimes granted to players expected to draw attention or show promise. No one expected fireworks. Yet fireworks is exactly what the world got. In match after match, Alex defeated season champions, Names with Grand Slam titles and top-tier reputations: Jelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, and Iga Swiatek. Each of those victories wasn't just a match win. It was a point cascade, a surge in her ranking score. Simply reaching the semifinals was enough to dramatically alter her ranking trajectory. Then came the update, a leap from number 140 to number 75, the biggest jump of that magnitude seen in the top 300. From a narrative perspective, this was her comet moment, that rare burst of light combining preparation, timing, and belief. She didn't just climb the rankings. She blasted off. Crystal Ball Chapter 2, The Pulse of Progress. Now ranked inside the top 100, a historic first for a Filipino player, Alex's world changed. This threshold was not merely numerical, it was symbolic. It meant direct entry into major tournaments, elimination of the qualifier rounds that demanded extra matches and energy. It meant the doors to every big arena on the circuit swung open. But imagine her in training after that Miami surge. She stands on the practice court not with relief, but with a complicated blend of excitement and pressure. Because now, every early exit means defending fewer points next year. But every deep run is measured against the points she already has. In this sense, movement up or down feels like walking on a tightrope. Her ranking didn't stabilize magically at 75. It continued evolving as the season progressed. After a runner-up finish in Eastbourne, where she made history by reaching her first WTA final, she climbed even higher, nearing the top 60. This stage of her career embodies the heartbeat rhythm of rankings: small jumps, minor drops, each a reaction to tournament results. In February she might be 140, in March she's 75, by June top 60, by November she's cracking top 50. Mount Fuji Chapter 3, Ranking Peaks and Valleys, The Emotional Journey. The WTA rankings don't ascend in a straight line. They meander like a mountain path. A semifinal one week may feel like the summit, but next week's early exit, a steep descent. Imagine, Alex arrives at a WTA 250 event as a seeded favorite. Expectations are high. A win in the second or third round yields solid points. A loss could stagnate growth. These are the ranking micromoments, the everyday battles invisible to casual fans but vitally felt by players. When Alex reached the main draw of a major or made it to a final, her ranking score climbed. But when she failed to defend points from a previous year's result, she dropped. That's the nature of the system. It rewards both momentum and